Hello, hello, good people of the internet. Yeah, we're here for our live launch. Our I'm trying to check the sound behind the scenes too. We uh we don't usually launch on day one. We don't do a live show on day one. It could be kind of stressful. Um, oh, Katrina, you were too early. I did go live a little bit early, but yeah, we had it scheduled for 7. But you know what? It's our show, so we get to do whatever we want. But yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube later, the links for what we're going to talk about will be in the description. So check that out. Leave us a comment. Let me know how the sound is. I'm trying to check it myself in the background right now. Um, it sounds pretty good. Mic is sounding okay. I am I am standing up. The day was a little bit long. Had some running around to do, and I knew if I sat down, I'd kind of lose the energy. So I'm trying to keep the energy up. I can actually ditch these headphones because yeah, no guests were able to join us today. Everybody's busy out there in the world. We certainly understand everything's crazy right now in the world and comics, and wasn't able to wrangle any guests for us today, but maybe some people will secretly pop in that haven't let me know yet. That certainly would be an awesome surprise. But what are we here to talk about? Well, we're here to talk about CPS. The final issue is launching. Let me remove this for a second and show you. If you've been following along with Part-Time Comics, you know this was the first book from Part-Time Comics. I was with another publisher. I joined up with my longtime business partner, colleague, friend, Mr. Bobgar Ornelas. I joined his company for self-publishing, which was called Kingbone Press. I was with them for about 10 years. Took a couple years off, and when I kind of got the itch to come back, Bob and I had already done a short story with our main character, Connie Dar, a social worker for possessed or recently possessed children. And I kind of threw it out to him as a spoof. He was doing an anthology series. He wanted a short story. We talked through the idea, and Bob really had some great ideas to turn it into more of a full character, changing her ethnicity. Originally, she was supposed to be a spoof of John Constantine. Her name was actually Constantina. If you haven't heard me ramble about this before, but Bob really, added a lot to it. That her ethnicity would play into how she could use, kind of powers, so to speak, that she has, that her abilities, that she's able to do rituals and cast spells differently than other people that are working with these kids who are possessed. And Bob he's a huge part of this, so I always mention him. He is definitely the co-creator of this series. It wouldn't be here without him. But along the way, we weren't really on the same page with where we wanted the character to go or how quickly we wanted to put out issues. Really was the case. So we did bring in an artist for issues 3 and 4. That's Mata Sorcier. If you haven't checked out the campaign, and she just hasn't missed a beat. She's has a lot of input into Connie and the other characters. She's very much in tune with the kind of raunchy, sarcastic humor that comes with this book. Again, you're talking about a poorly run government agency called Child Possession Services, which Connie works for, and it's more of the inter-office turmoil than it is actually the demonic possessions. Of course, we got a lot of that, and I really feel like in issue 4, which we'll talk about now, we've really got we're getting a lot more into that. It's the finale. We had some bigger plans for this series, but again, things don't always go as planned in life, and we put that into the book. I mean, just a little bit behind the scenes. And if anybody's in the chat, if you want to comment, let me know if you can hear me out there. If you're excited to see the book. A lot of what goes on with Connie is a lot of my own feelings about my career. And 20 years ago, going into the helping profession and thinking you were going to change the world. And that didn't necessarily happen, for better or worse. I still feel like I've had a good career, but I put a lot of that into the book, the frustration with bureaucracy and all that goes into when you're just trying to sign in for the day and help some people. There's a lot that gets in the way of being able to do that. So a lot of that went into the book. And then again, a lot of the struggles behind the scenes to get this book where we wanted it to be. I mean, when I did the first book, you might not be able to see it there. You know, I got a barcode for the book. I was so sure. We ordered 1,000 copies of CPS after our first successful Kickstarter. And I really thought, you know, this was going to be a huge stepping stone in my career. And Bob was going to be there the whole way. We were going to enjoy, you know, long success. And it just doesn't always work out that way. And I'm not saying that to say sour grapes or to say I'm bitter. I'm just saying you can utilize that, you know, within your stories. There's a lot of struggles for people out there. Definitely go way beyond some of the silly things we deal with, you know, creating these worlds and these comics. So I don't want to downplay anybody else's real world strife, but you can put some of that again in your feelings of inadequacy and loss and friendships that didn't work out, or you know, careers that didn't go the way that you wanted. CPS is more about that again than it is the demonic possessions. But I do feel like with the 4th issue here, and you have the awesome cover from Mata. Mata did take over coloring. She hadn't done coloring last issue, but she really felt like she wanted to handle the whole duty this time. Because she felt like, you know, it just it helped her to think about the colors while she was drawing and just kind of do the whole package together is how I understand it. So certainly respect that decision. You see her awesome cover here. Again, if you're coming across this series and you haven't, we got a dance show going on over here, and you haven't read the series yet, you may not understand exactly what this cover is portraying, but I just think she nailed it. You've got Connie and a newer character named Hank, and kind of her nemesis here, who's kind of looming in the background, Officer Hoffman, who's been plaguing her as the police escort side of CPS. And, you know, again, she just nailed it. I think Motto is a great person to bring on. I definitely see her as a co-creator of the series. At this point, you know, if CPS ever comes back or we're able to do anything else in media with CPS, you know, Mata is definitely a co-creator. She's put so much into this, just her character designs, her excitement for the scripts, that in itself changed the story, grew the story. And I think we pull it all together in kind of this end of season 1 chapter that we're at here. But that's not all we have for you. And we appreciate, we got some comments. Hey, you're back. I think you should at least have issue 1. I think I threw it in there at some point, but if you don't, let me know. I'll put it, you know, I'll drop it in the mail for you. You're on the comp list. Let us know. But yeah, and then we wanted to bring on another artist who I've been following for a while and wanting to work with on a project. And again, Jamie Primack here did an amazing cover with now our longtime collaborator, Wes Wong, on colors. Wes always kills it on colors. He took, you know, Jamie's art to the next level. I actually have something here, and I'm standing up, so I might as well utilize that to my advantage. And a little behind the scenes for anybody who's tuning in. Jamie wanted to color her piece herself. She is an amazing artist, an amazing cosplayer. She was such a awesome person to bring on this project because, again, I just kind of, you know, by her style, her vibe, what she's into, how she draws, I knew she was going to do an amazing piece. And this was 100% from her mind here. This awesome, just awesome, terrifying, haunting cover of Connie Dar here. And I'm going to make myself big here because I was lucky enough, as part of contracting with her, to get the original art. Sorry for all the glare. I didn't realize there was going to be so much glare, but you see her awesome cover there. It's in plastic, so I should have taken it out, but I'm so happy to add this to my collection. I have the cover for issue 1 as well from Bob Gar. I have the cover from Mata for the last issue. I think the only standard cover I don't have, I think, is issue 2, the Halloween special. But you see here, that was colored a bit differently. So let's walk through that. It's not just a cover C, it's a Nightmare edition. You see here, Much more gruesome. The way she colored it is just perfect. It's so good. But like I talked about, with careers and other things that don't always go your way, sometimes art doesn't go your way. And Jamie unfortunately had a pen explode, and a color marker that she uses. I don't know what brand she was using, but I believe it's one of the ones that it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a spray paint can. It had, you can shake it up, and it exploded. She said it's never happened. You probably don't notice it here. You may have seen it when I held up the cover, even though there was a little bit of glare. Yeah, we had a bit of an accident, and she was just devastated. She was so upset. She felt like it ruined the piece. And again, I just think sometimes, in fact, most times in life, you just got to roll with it. And we contacted Wes Wong. We said, if you do a digital coloring of this, can you help us just kind of correct it just a little bit, kind of clean it up a little bit, the colors. And that's what Wes did here. You can see it on the screen here now. I think it just makes a perfect counterpiece. And this kind of happened on issue 3 as well with Mata. She had traditionally colored it and didn't feel like she really stuck the landing on what we wanted for a quote unquote, standard cover variant, but we were able to turn that into the fairy tale edition. So, for every fairy tale ending, there is a nightmare ending, right? So we've got the nightmare issue version here, which is just haunting and terrifying, which is part of the book, even though again, it's a lot of humor. And then we got the strobe light dance show going on again. Even though that's part of the show, the book, there's a lot of humor to it, but it's a darker book for me. I usually lean on the humor, and I think this cover is a great end cap to the series. You can get all 3 issues, all 3 covers at a great price. We don't always do that many covers of our books, but again, when things happen along the way and you can kind of make a happy accident out of them, as Bob Ross would say, we don't have mistakes, we have happy accidents. I couldn't see Jamie redoing the whole piece for one. I knew that we could digitally color it, but I just wanted to salvage her great coloring. And again, Connie makes some pretty horrible decisions, so she definitely has this nightmarish side that you'll see in issue 4 here. So I hope that plays out in the series. So yeah, I hope that people get that. The last one was very limited. I think only 25 were printed because, we order to the numbers for these variants. We keep the standard issues most of the time with cover A's, because we want to sell them at shows, but the variants don't get printed much. So we've got some preview pages here, trying not to give too much away, but do want to wet people's whistles. So check it out. We have all of our other books here. I believe I will have to do a count, but there's a couple bookmarks left. If you didn't see this, you can jump in on the series. I'm just going to make a chat here just to see if it comes up on Twitch, to see if we're connected to Twitch. Yes, we are. Okay. I think there might be something going on with Facebook. Let me know if you're on Facebook, if you're seeing this live, if it's working, because it doesn't look like it's connected. So I'll have to check that out. Oh, wait, I can pull it up now. Yeah, good. Okay, so we're good on there. All right. Yeah, so that's CPS in a nutshell, where we're at with the series. If you've been backing all of our books this year, we have an incentive for you as well. You can get an I Support Part-Time Comics, I Support Indie Comics sticker. If CPS is your 3rd book you've backed this year, this is our 5th book in total. So of course we know nobody can back everything, but if you've utilized the Hold My Shipping program, you have anything on hold now, this is a good time to cash out. Back CPS, get all your books shipped to you. But again, we're going to go back. We're going to check if you've backed at least 2 other campaigns this year. I want to give you a something for your support. So it's going to be a 5.5 by 1 3/4 sticker. So pretty big, pretty big bumper sticker. We work with some vinyl sticker makers that for the 2-color stickers can give us a good rate. So yeah, we want to give that to people. And again, I believe we've had several digital backers. So this is still live for any physical backer for the first 40. We'll count them up at the end and we'll get those sent out to everybody. We do appreciate it. Of course, we have all the previous issues and covers. For all 3 of the awesome issues, you can get 10 issues, 10 covers total at an awesome price. And of course, again, you can get drawn in the book. We've got stickers here of our Connie's dearly departed beta fish. We've got all the other series that we do here at Part-Time Comics. So, but you've seen a Kickstarter before. You've seen that. All this stuff. Yeah, I'm on Twitch, JTHD35, the numbers, JTHD35. Follow me on Twitch. I can post it in the chat for you. I'm trying to do the multi-streaming thing. I know it's some people watch on Twitch, some on YouTube, some on Facebook are kind of the most places. So actually our mutual friend Katrina Chad Perkins had signed up our we have like kind of a joint account now. So we're just trying to get our music to the masses, so to speak. So just trying to multi-stream in different places. But yeah, if you don't follow me on Twitch, follow me there. Chad and I have played Lorcana on Twitch before. We're talking about some different things to do for the Cosmos Collective group. So yeah, we are trying to be all the places. Yes, good job to you. You're ahead of the game. I must have posted on there before. Update, I guess if we're doing updates for anybody again who's watching this on YouTube, we want to give you updates. Final Heist is finished shipping. I'm waiting to hear some feedback for some people who got all 3 covers, because there is some bonus content in Final Heist that I'm just so eager to hear what people thought of getting a little bit extra with your variant covers, not just a cover slapped on the same interiors. So I'm anxiously waiting to hear what people say. All those should be shipped. We had a couple stragglers, so if you feel like you haven't filled out your survey, log in and check for that. And similarly, Drumsticks of Doom finished shipping yesterday, so those should be in your hands shortly, unless again you've chosen hold my shipping, or there's some other reason we're holding your shipping. The metal covers have not come in yet. Those always take a little bit longer. So pretty much 90%, except for the 9 or 10 people who ordered the metal covers. And we did have an issue though. If you haven't heard or you didn't see our post about it, kind of had an embarrassing issue, and I'm actually about to pack an order I'm going to pull an Henri Kampmann and kind of double do something while I'm sitting here streaming, waiting for the viewers to roll in. It was kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. Don't think I've ever had this happen before. I've used multiple printers, and I'll just name the one that we're using. Comics Wellspring has always been good to us. Never really had an issue. A couple times, there was like a printing error or something. They corrected it right away. There was like a color thing with one of the issue covers, like looked like the ribbon ran out of ink or something. But they've been very good about it. And unfortunately, I didn't notice until a backer brought it to my attention. About 15 of the variant covers for our awesome, and I should make myself large again. For the awesome variant cover by Jonathan Grimm, I did not check each issue's interiors, and that was kind of a rookie mistake. You see our awesome first page here from Dan Doherty. Unfortunately, will now forever be known as the Garbage Edition. It's got issue 1. We did a small reprint of issue 1, and unfortunately they swapped the interiors, and I did not see that. Again, rookie mistake. That was kind of embarrassing to hear. I'm glad that somebody in the community had caught it and reached out to us. They got it to us quick, fast, and in a hurry. The correction, I will be contacting everybody to get that fixed. Again, we greatly apologize. It's a little bit embarrassing on my part. Just being in the rhythm of shipping, I can't even recall. I know that I looked at the issues when they came in to make sure, check the condition they were in, make sure, they printed well, but somehow a stack of the variants by John Grimm. So for those of you out there who did receive this, you've got a collector's item out there now. You've got the mysterious issue 7 with issue 1 interiors. So maybe that'll be worth something someday. So feel free to keep that. I will, if you didn't see my message, I will be contacting you. If you're going to order CPS, that would insanely help me from having to reship them all. But if not, it's my fault. I'm grateful that it was the variant and not the standard covers, which had a lot more orders already go out. So we were able to catch it. We were able to correct it. And I'm just kind of waiting to hear from some backers if it's which ones slipped through the cracks. So I hope people like how the second and penultimate arc ended. That's what's most important to talk about now. I'm very excited where Drumsticks of Doom is going. 2026 will be all about Drumsticks of Doom, so to speak, with CPS wrapping up and LCS not necessarily on hold, but just we aren't producing any new ones yet until we kind of decide where we want to go with the series. It's going to be all about Drumsticks of Doom next year. Finishing the series likely will be a 3-issue miniseries to end. We've already spoiled the title. So if you haven't heard, maybe I can pull it up here. If you haven't heard, drum roll please. Ding, 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 if I can find it. Where are you? Yeah, we spoiled again. Dan and I talked about it. We've had I like to juggle a bunch of books in the air, but it seemed like it was time to finish Drumsticks of Doom. It deserved, to have the focus of Dan and I to make the best ending that we could for it. Like a lot of things, there's more stories in that world we could tell, but I think Lana's arc had kind of a natural 3-part act to it. So, we want to just focus on finishing the series well. Writing, I'm going to write the whole, all the issues, all the pages. So, we have it exactly where we want it to be. And we're going to, okay, share screen. At this stage, Drumsticks of Doom, the Queen of Queens. We got the band together in Arc 1. We recorded the album in Arc 2. I won't tell you how it ends and who made it through the recording of the album or didn't. Issue 3, Arc 3, you got to go on tour, right? So who's going to be on the tour for the final arc? You'll have to read Band on the Silver Mountain to see where that's at. But this is a story that's kind of been in my notes and the back of my mind since probably 2007 or something like that. Maybe a little bit after that. And I'm just so glad to get it kind of out of my brain and into the world. And yeah, Dan and I are excited to do that. It should be like most years. We kind of launch, mid to late January is our first Kickstarter of the year, and the other two right behind it. I'm interested to see, we may do some sort of like subscription plan if people are into that. Like you can just come to the Kickstarter in January and just get all the issues if you want them and not have to come back 3 times. We've done the hold my shipping thing before, where, we can hold the shipping for you if you, if you want to back multiple books throughout the year. We tried that the last couple of years. So we're always trying to think of different ways to save people money, see how they want to engage with the books. And I'm not going to be able to pack this because I don't have shipping tape. But there's one of the last packages going out the door right now. Thank you, Rebecca. We won't say your last name because I don't know if people want, their name to be stated. But thank you, Rebecca. This is one of the first of the brand new variant editions that are now correct and have the correct issues in them. Let me make sure I did put. Now I'm paranoid. Did I put the right issue in there? I'm going to have to throw those other ones away or make sure they're as far away as they can get so that I'm not that I'm not worried I'm going to send the wrong issue. Let me double check it. This is all fun stuff to do live on the air. Yeah, that's the right issue. Okay. All right. We got it. We got it corrected. Yeah, again, in all the time I've been doing this, I don't know if I've ever had that happen. So I'm not necessarily excited to say there's a first time for everything, but, you know, again, like I said with CPS, comics, just like everything in life, sometimes it's about rolling with the punches, battling through, overcoming adversity. It's going to cost us a little bit of money and time, but, you know, I want to make sure that people get the correct issue. A few people have already reached out to me and said, hey, when I back CPS, just throw it in the box. And that's extremely helpful to a small business. So I do appreciate that. You know, all that stuff, boxes, flipping tape, all of it. In fact, most of it, I'll be honest with you, doesn't get paid for by the Kickstarter. I shouldn't say most of it. The comics usually, the art for the artists, the artist payments, most of the time get covered by the Kickstarter itself. But oftentimes, you know, the shipping supplies, the printer ink, the labels, a lot of times that stuff is just, you know, for now, stuff you have to kind of buy on your own. So it all adds up in the end. Oh, and we're out. See, we're out of shipping tape. So yeah, we do have another big announcement coming with Drumsticks of Doom. Today is not the day to announce that, but I was hoping some guests would jump on with us to talk about CPS, but I hope people are excited about it. I think we have 4 viewers watching at home. We do really appreciate it. We won't keep you too much longer, but we'll kind of jump back into the campaign one more time before we sign off for the night. So let's remove that. Go back to this one. And yeah, don't forget there's great add-ons. As always, we've got Modest Sorcier's entire trade paperback #1 for Sacrimony. This is why I had met Mata on some live streams and things like that, and obviously saw her art. But once I read Sacrimony and kind of her take on kind of almost slice of life fantasy, high fantasy story, I knew that she was the right one to bring in. I'm so happy that she had the time and the availability. I know she's got some things going on. You know, like everybody does, careers and other art projects, and you never know. You reach out to somebody and they're not into the story or they're not able. That happens a lot. You know, I'd love to do it, but I've got 4 other books I'm doing. So I'm just so glad to bring her on. This was a, you know, again, CPS was conceived by myself and Bob Gar. So it's always difficult to kind of bring someone in halfway through that and say, do they fit? And, you know, Mata's great. I hope that we can find time to work together on something else in the future. But if this is kind of our comic that we do together, I'm so happy that she could jump in and help Bob and I, you know, finish this. Again, we'll call it the first season. There's more stories for Connie, but you know, I'm interested to see how people think it ends here for Connie. As again, she's kind of burned all her bridges and she's got really nobody left to lean on when there's a mass demonic possession at a school, which unfortunately in the country of America, we can kind of probably guess the analogy there. So yeah, again, it's a heavier tone to this issue, but it felt like this was time to wrap up these characters' stories for now. And let's check in and see where we're at. 54 backers with 21 days to go. We're a third of the way there, almost a third of the way there. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, almost exactly a third of the way there. So yeah, we're getting there. We really do appreciate it. Again, I know I jumped on a little early, so hopefully people weren't. Oh, and here I thought I was showing you the thing, and I wasn't. But yeah. Yeah, and we always do pretty well backer number wise. It's just about getting enough people. So part of it is, you know, streaming in different places, mailing list. I know people ask me that all the time. You know, how do you get so many backers? Well, I've done 25 campaigns or something like that over 16 years, and the bulk of those in the last few years. So we're very fortunate. We see a lot of the same names come back over and over again. We've seen a ton of people already catching up on the series that hadn't dipped into it. So that's always a great feeling, right? Like, just give me all the issues. I don't even want to, just try issue 1 or something like that. So, that's always a good feeling. We always do well backer count wise. It's just a matter of kind of when they come in. I always joke about doing like a 1-week campaign or like a 5-day campaign just to kind of cut out that middle. But sometimes it takes time to kind of, yell on your bullhorn and tell everybody, hey, I got something going on over here too. And again, with all that's going on in the world, we certainly understand it. But we thank everybody for hanging out. Trina, thanks for hanging out in the chat. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, we always love the comments. Of course, like, subscribe, share. But CPS has launched. We're now 36 hours into launch. I launched a little bit early yesterday. And I'm happy where we're at heading into the first weekend. That's always a big step for these books. They got to get to, about 50% in that first weekend. And then, most, I think 80% of books or something, once they get past that 50% mark, usually make it. So it's always a good feeling to get there. And we're ticking up. Lots of new names back in the book. So that's a good feeling. And if some of our previous backers on the last 3 issues jump on in here, we'll be all good to go. So thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll try again, trying to multi-stream in different places with my partners over at the Cosmos Comics Collective, Dave and Marthias and Chad. We're trying to do that over there as well. So we're kind of doing like a shared account thing. So you may see us on some different platforms, but never be afraid to jump in the chat if you have questions about indie comics. In my experience, and gosh, it's creeping on 20 years now. If you want to ask the old man in comics, I'm always happy to share it. So many people helped me along the way, so I always want to share. But we will talk to you all next time. Back and share.